Let me tell you a story. This is my own personal story. This is the story of how I took a cutting edge trend and made tens of millions of dollars from it. I'm not promising you're gonna make tens of millions of dollars or anything like that. It's not a get rich quick scheme, nothing like that. But it's a true story and nobody can argue with it. It's facts. By the way, I'm shooting here. We just did a fashion shoot for a clothing line that I own. So that's why there's not always 6 or 7 people in a jacuzzi and me, but we just finished up and I want to record a little video because not too long ago, every idea that I had in my head, I didn't know how to do. I would think of a good idea like start my own t-shirt company or start my own business. I started at 5 years old, I wanted to make money. I had a single mom, she didn't have much money, and I decided I would sell tomatoes. We had tomatoes in our backyard. This is in San Diego, and didn't make much money. I made about $1, but it got me thinking. But the problem was I grew up in I didn't grow up here. This is where I live in Beverly Hills. I didn't grow up in a place like this. So if you don't know the potential of what can be done, you always live at about 5% of your potential. And for a lot of my life, especially when I was growing up, I went through the public school system. Man, I would have all these ideas and I never made a penny off them. So what changed? That's what I want to share with you. Like now, if I get an idea like, ooh, I can make motivational, like that's a motivational bikini, or like this is athletic wear. Now I know how to turn it into a business, and I've made tens of millions of dollars. And I'm under exaggerating how much money, but it's better to always under exaggerate, right? Than to stretch the truth. So let's just say 20 million bucks. Number one thing that I did was catch trends. And the biggest trend in the world right now is social media. You're watching this on social media. Video is now a big part of social media. So by the way, if you don't want to watch this video, if it's too distracting with the jacuzzi, click the link below. I'll put it somewhere here in the video or below. I recorded a more, what should I say, formal presentation where I share with you the 3 most important things that I learned to start your own business, okay? And it's what I learned over 10 years of hard work, a lot of mistakes, and I spent $10 million to learn this. More than 10 million. I told you I under exaggerate. So click the link below, register, it's free. You don't have to put in a credit card. I'm gonna share with you a link. So you just register, you put in your email. Don't share that link on your social media. I don't want everybody to know about it. This is the opposite of what most people do. Most people try to get like everybody to see their idea. I'm just gonna show it to a few people. I'll show it to you and anyone else who's watching this video, but let's keep it between us, quality over quantity. Here's the preview of what I learned. If you really want to be frustrated in life, be broke all the time. And then every idea you have and everything you want to do will always be frustrated. Every plan of yours, every intention will just sit in your mind, and guess what? You'll see other people make money off your ideas. I had ideas and I remember other people would do them before me because I was broke. I grew up, I was born in Long Beach. My dad was in prison, in and out of prison. I went through public school system, everything I needed to know, I didn't learn. But just remember this, catch the cutting edge trend. The number one thing that I think is trending right now, that I caught the trend about 2-3 years ago, 2014 really, 2014, 2015 is when I started really focusing on social media, because it had been around, but it wasn't as cutting edge. Right now, I can reach more. Look at Coca-Cola. My Instagram's bigger than Coca-Cola's. And my Instagram's not even the biggest one out there. There's ones way bigger. My verified one has like over 2 million. But Coca-Cola, the number 1 brand in the world, only has 1.8 million followers. And if you look at their posts, they suck. They get like 10,000 likes. The biggest brand in the world, Coca-Cola, should not get 10,000 likes. But they don't know how to do social media. So that creates an opportunity that I took. Maybe you'll take it. I've trained people how to take it, but I'm just, like I said, I'm gonna tell my story. I started catching the trends before other people, and next thing you know, you start making a lot of money. And next thing you know, people start coming up to you on the street all day long and going, hey, what did you do? What did you do? So I said, I'm gonna record a video so I don't have to stop what I'm doing all the time when I go out, and I can just send them this link. And more importantly, if you click that link below and go to my website, that's the full version. I'll share with you for like an hour, step-by-step instructions on how I use social media to, like I said, make over $10 million. A lot more than that, but we'll just keep it conservative at 10 million bucks. Now, I'm not promising, like I said, when you go over to my website, that next day you wake up, you can make $10 million. That's not how life works. You don't get rich quick. In fact, if you try to get rich too quick, you usually go broke. But you can make money quicker if you know what you're doing. And the school system will teach you how to do geometry, how to figure out what an isosceles triangle is. It'll tell you what a gerund is and the difference between then and than. It will teach you that the War of 1812 was in 1812. It'll teach you that the Civil War is 1861 to 1865. But you know what it won't teach you how to do? Pay your bills. And I didn't know how to pay my bills. And my mom couldn't teach me because we lived in a mobile home most of my teenage years. And my dad couldn't teach me. Like I said, my dad was in and out of prison. He's from Harlem. No one taught him. So the cycle of poverty or the cycle of instability continues. I wasn't dirt poor. I always had enough food. You know, my grandma was around to help my mom. But you know what? I had $3,000 in overdraft bills one year. I didn't have a car. I didn't even have a room. I slept on a couch in a mobile home. And one day I just decided I would change my life. It's that simple. Usually you make all your change in one day. You just decide, you know what, enough is enough, and then you start changing. And most people procrastinate. Even if I put a free link like this, people still won't click it. That's how weak-willed today's generation is. I can share with you my exact story and give you the blueprint, and people still won't follow it. People are too proud, people are too lazy, people procrastinate nonstop. But you know what? I will tell you this, you might as well turn this video off if you're lazy or you procrastinate. There is actually no real help for you. Until you get enough pain in your life and you say enough is enough, nobody will help you. I promise you that. No matter what book you read, no matter what person tries to, say, oh, it'll all work out, and no, it won't. It only works out when you fix it correctly. If you got a broken leg and you don't go to a doctor, you think it magically heals itself? Yeah, it'll heal incorrectly and you'll be crippled for the rest of your life. That's what happens when you don't get an expert to help you. So I went out, when I was sleeping on that couch, I found an expert, a guy named Mike Steinbach, a guy named John Dewar, Joel Salatin. I had like 5 or 6 mentors. And these are people you never heard of. They stay behind the scenes, but they've all made millions of dollars. And they started going, hey, Ty, you want the keys to the kingdom? I'm like, yes. And they go, all right, here's a little key here. I traveled around the world over 30, 40, actually I think now over 50 countries. Everywhere I go, finding the most successful person. I went to Australia, Tasmania, New Zealand, Ireland, Bolivia. I've been to Latvia, Estonia, Sweden, Norway, Ireland. I've been to little islands that people haven't been to before, And I remember driving, one guy, the record was I went to a guy in an island off of Australia, the other side of the world. It took me about 40 hours to get there from where I live. Plane, another plane, bus, train, and I stayed with this guy for 2 days. His name was Bill Mollison. I learned a few tips there, and I started collecting all these little golden nuggets, and that's the story. And people want a different story, and I started here. I live in Beverly Hills in Hollywood now, and now I'm lucky enough to meet all kinds of interesting people. I sat next to Kobe Bryant from the Los Angeles Lakers for the last 3 or 4 games of his career. I was there. A lot of people saw it. I was on ESPN. I sat at the end of the bench. There's a one chair you can sit next to. And I talked to Kobe. I said, hey, can I come in the back, go back in the locker and ask you your secrets? You know what Kobe Bryant told me? I posted it on my YouTube. Same thing that I'm telling you right now. He said he found different mentors, whether it was Phil Jackson. He told me Bob Iger. He said Michael Jackson taught him things. All these different business people. Nobody was perfect, but he started learning from different people. And next thing you know, he got smarter and he got wealthier. And that's how the game works. And there is no get rich quick, but there is quicker. Now, if I want to start a fashion brand, I can start making money in under 2 months. I couldn't do that at the beginning because I didn't know what I was doing. And remember this saying, I'm a college dropout, by the way. A formal education will make you a living. You want a 9-to-5 cubicle job, just have a formal education. But a self-education can make you a fortune. This video you're watching right now, you're self-educating. You're learning from different people. I'm one of them. I don't have all the answers, but I got a few answers. And on something like social media, I have, Entrepreneur Magazine named me the #1 person in the world to watch for social media, to learn about the business of social media. I don't know if I deserve to be #1. There's a lot of smart people in it, but I've learned a thing or two. I've done an experiment and I grew my Facebook page 1 million a week. I've done $1 million a month on my Instagram, grown from $1 million to $2 million in 1 month, all from taking different techniques that I learned. So I'll teach them to you for free. I'll teach you some. I have some paid programs. I have some free. You know, if you were watching my Snapchat the other day, I did a little, people pay me, business owners pay me 10 grand. I let 20 people come to my house and I just shared with them stuff for 2 days. And 2 kids came up to me. Now this is an exceptional story. For all you people, I should put a legal disclaimer. This doesn't happen all the time, but it's a cool story. These 2 kids came and said, Ty, a year ago we started listening to your stuff. And we came to one of your conferences and we were making under 5 grand a month. And we met each other and we became business partners. It was 2 kids, 121, 122. And I said, oh, how's it going? He said, well, they said this month we made $205,000. And they've been growing every year. They're drop shipping. They're selling stuff on Facebook. They're selling, I don't know what, clothing, cups, all this stuff. They're actually importing stuff from China that they buy real cheap and they sell it here. I think they're doing bras. I forget what it is. But the point is, they're making money at 21 and 22. And I said, what changed your life? He said, well, you shared with us what people taught you. Believe it or not, a few sentences sometimes can change your life. You know, an hour of somebody's time can change your life. I had dinner with Steve Ballmer a month or 2 ago. You know how rich Steve Ballmer is? Him and Bill Gates built Microsoft, number 2 company in the world, $500 billion company. But you know how much money he had? Mark Cuban was over at my house, who's super rich, $3 billion. He's a Shark Tank guy, right? He owns the Dallas Mavericks. Steve Ballmer has $28.5 billion. Let me put that in perspective. $28,000 million. How would you like to have $28,000 million? That means you could walk out of your house, see a homeless person, and be like, I'm going to give him $1 million. And you'd still have $27,999 million. You could give out $1 million like it's literally 50 cents. But I sat down with him, I had dinner, just me and him, and you know what? The story I'm telling you, he has a different story, but not that different. He learned from people. He started becoming, he dropped out of business school. Now, I'm not telling you should drop out of school. That's not the moral of the story. The moral of the story is if you're not hungry, if you're not curious, I can promise you this, you will live at 5% of your potential for the rest of your life. But you don't have to be a genius. You don't have to be born to rich parents. I wasn't born to rich parents, but if you become a learning machine, all of a sudden, the doors that were once closed to you open up. The ideas that you have in your head go from fantasies that you procrastinate on into actuality. And actuality is a lot more fun. This is more fun sitting here right now before I turn the camera on, you know, than it was when I was laying on a couch. I remember this couch I would lay on. It was the worst couch in the world. I never cry. The only time I remember crying was laying on that couch, looking at my bank account. I had $47. I had no car, no college degree. I had no job prospects. I couldn't even drive to a job interview because I was out in the middle of nowhere in Clayton, North Carolina. And I remember saying, is this it? Have I messed up my life? I was in my early 20s. It's like, is this the end? And you know, life can change faster than you think. I read a book by Tony Robbins and he said, when you're depressed, you should get excited because all greatness comes from depression, because once you're depressed and once you're sad, you change. That's actually been backed up scientifically. You only change for the most part, because if you're like me, you're stubborn when things get bad. So if you're watching this and you're broke and things are bad, I got good news for you. There might be something around the corner that's gonna surprise you. If you can't pay the bills, then take the pain that you have right now and say never again. And when you say never again and you mean it and it hurts enough, you stick to it. You know, I don't have overdraft fees anymore. My bank account doesn't go under. There's people richer than me, but I remember being a lot poorer. And I can tell you, if you got a choice between having some money in your bank account and being broke, it's better to have money. Money doesn't make you happy, but not having money makes you unhappy. Think about that. Money's like air. When you got it, you're like, you don't even think about it. But the second it gets taken away from you, all you can think about is money. So if you click this link below, I'm gonna share with you some money-making techniques that work for me. I don't know if they'll work for you. I've shown them to over 100,000 people have paid for me to train them online. I do online training. about money-making techniques, and I get an insane amount of people sending me success stories. But again, I'm not going to overpromise. You might be lazy, honestly. You might be unlucky, because some success has a little luck to it. I mean, I was lucky to be born healthy. My mom wasn't rich, but I was born healthy. I could have had a worse, lot to my life. So like I said, I can't promise you this, but I will promise you this. Watch what I'm going to share with you on this special training. It's stuff you haven't heard before, and I guarantee you didn't learn it in school. Now, guess what? The #1 business schools in the world, they fly me in to teach. I spoke at Harvard. I spoke at London Business School. That's the #2 business school in the world. I spoke at USC. I spoke at Loyola. These are now the schools, people pay millions of dollars to learn from them, but now a college dropout like me, they'll listen now. Once you make a little money, people start listening to you. I'll end with this. When I was early 20s and I was broke, I found this mentor, Alan Nation, smartest guy. He's the guy who taught me how to read so much. And I said, Alan, I'm trying to decide if I should start a business or go to college. And I'd started a little business and made 10 grand, so I was excited. I made 10 grand in a week. I remember, boy, I was like, woo, that's the most money I ever saw in the shortest amount of time. And I said, because I was going to NC State University in North Carolina. I said, should I stay at NC State and get a degree, or should I keep this business thing going? And he said to me, well, Ty, why do you want a degree? And I said, well, because people will respect you when you have a degree. And I'll never forget what he said. He was about 67 years old, this big guy, kind of chubby. He looked at me and he said, Ty, no, this is America. Make $1 million and people will respect you. So I said, you know what? That's true. Everybody got a degree, but not everybody makes $1 million. So I made $1 million. This is a long time ago. And you know what? That damn Alan Nation was a smart guy. Once people see you make $1 million, they start listening. So I'm not trying to say you got to try to make $1 million. Some of you will, some of you won't. Most people won't. A few will, but maybe you'll be one of the few. I don't know. But life's good even if you don't make money, if you're financially stable. So click the link, learn how to be a little stable. Sorry to bore you guys. You guys okay? You hanging in there?
Yeah, that was really inspirational.
I know, right?
All right, well, hopefully it inspired you. It wasn't meant to be. I'm not really a motivational speaker.
Well, you're meant to be.
No, I don't want to be a motivational. I don't want to be a motivational speaker because I don't want to be a role model. I'm not a role model. I actually post things on my Instagram to piss people on. Every once in a while, I start posting too much motivational stuff. People come up to me on the street, oh, Ty, I look up to you so much. I'm like, I don't want you. The second people look up to you, you will let them down. They will find out that you're a regular person and you do messed up stuff. So what I like to do is just post something that pisses off. Like, I like to see my Instagram follow. You don't want to do something horrible, right? But this video right here will piss off people. They'll be like, girls in bikinis, horrible thing. How dare you have a girl in a bikini? I'm like, what's wrong with a bikini? You want me to have, you want me to have my friend Zach in a bikini at 220 pounds? Hey, I like sexy businesses. I like classy, but this is classy and sexy. Girls gotta wear something. I ain't going back to the 1800s where women wear big, hoop bikinis. I'm gonna invent a hoop bikini to not piss everybody off on YouTube. It'll be a big, massive thing. People have to get over the human form. I like Pablo Picasso used to paint beautiful people. He used to find beautiful people. And life's not about beauty of, shallowness, but it's about health, wealth, love, and happiness. I hope you find it. I'm still trying to find it. I don't have all the answers, but I have more than I used to have. So don't procrastinate. Take action. I'll see you over on my website.